Hey, Smirk here. For this month's group review, I let my friends figure out what to play and review. They settled on Cyberdunk Anime Edition, which I'll just call Cyberdunk for short. Cyberdunk was developed and published by Panel Inc. and was originally released as an early access title on September 22nd, 2021 and was fully released about 7 months later on May 2nd. It currently has 47 reviews in total, with roughly 40 reviews as positive and 7 as negative, leaving it with an 80% recommendation rating. In this game, the story is that some cyber samurai have come into the City of Lions, yeah, that's what it's called, to take it over, and only this bathing-suited, bubble-bootied, and tyranno-tittied anime harem has the capabilities of stopping them. There's 4 traditional levels with a kill goal for completion, and with each level comes a unique character. In addition to the weapons of a rifle, a pistol, and a shotgun, your characters have the ability to melee. The UI, if you choose to enable it, shows that you have a self-healing health bar after not taking damage for a period of time, a stamina bar for sprinting and jumping, and ammo. The enemies themselves also have some variety. Some of them carry pistols, some carry shotguns, and some carry rifles. Some of the levels feature a boss that take at least twice as many hits as your average bad guy. Bad guys spawn at specific places on a level over a period of time. Once you meet the kill goal, you get what some would think is a sweet message from your kawaii waifu, and then you go on to the next level.
They're nice.
It took me about 5 hours to clear the 4 levels of the game features, each one with an achievement. The game also features an endless mode and a relax and walk mode for those who want to appreciate the scenery. That's mostly it for the foundational stuff, so let's talk about what we liked. Joining me for this review is Seevee, Buya, and Ryan. Among 4 reviewers, 2 of us had commended this game's graphics.
I gotta say I love this game's art direction. The anime girls are sexy and the music slaps hard. Even though all the girls have the exact same body, with only their face, hair, bikini color, and pattern being different, they all look good. I have no idea why they're wearing bikinis and killing bad guys though, but they look good doing it.
The game definitely is what it is. Hot anime girls in bikinis.
Alright, that's not exactly a commendation, but it was a nice thing to say, so close enough, I guess. Seevee had found herself enjoying some aspects of gameplay enough to commend it.
There are multiple levels with each map getting bigger. There are also 2 game modes besides the main story, endless and casual walk around the city. I enjoyed my stroll through the city until I made the hilarious decision to jump off a railway track.
And then for myself, I only have one commendation to give Cyberdunk, and that's for enjoyment. The game did seem reasonably challenging, which motivated me to try and complete it. It would seem like the game is purposely scarce on ammo to force you to incorporate melee attacks to conserve your ammo, and that forces you to mix up your gameplay. The gunplay was pretty easy to work around, but melee attacks are challenging to execute at times. I can't really say I was fully bored because the game motivated me to want to beat it. Damn, I could have swore there were 4 reviewers, but I've only seen 3. Anyway, now that we've covered more likable aspects of the game, let's talk about what we found a little less enjoyable. So, before moving on to absolute criticisms, I figure I'd talk about something that pretty much turns out to be totally neutral for me, and that's the graphics. This is more of a neutral point than something I disliked, but I figure it's a topic I should talk about. Whether or not any or all of the assets are purchased instead of developed, they're largely appropriate. I guess. I don't think it's that unrealistic that a cat-ear-wearing bikini model would heartlessly lay lead into 100 questionable fellas threatening their foam party in their favorite dark-endowed neon-flavored city. To be clear though, the graphics aren't flawless, like the clipping that's seen here, or when you holster your pistol, the gun model changes entirely. Walls being visible from only one side, there's floating buildings, invisible walls, or like how the enemies don't have hit acknowledgement for getting shot, but they do when you melee them. Also, are these models' feet just hella big, or is it just me? Even with all these things considered, I wouldn't call the graphics a negative aspect of the game, but it sure as hell ain't a positive. And now that that's out of the way, Ryan has finally decided to come in swinging at graphics.
In terms of art, the game delivers on 2 fronts. As advertised, the game features cute anime waifus and also delivers on the cyberpunk-esque aspect of the game. However, the cute anime waifu models are rigged pretty awkwardly. The running or crouch walking does not look natural at all. Lastly, the cyberpunk aspects of the game, while are familiar, are poorly executed. Billboards and neon signs repeat in unnatural ways.
I'm gonna let you finish, but
Moving on to another thing that took away from the game, 3 out of 4 reviewers chose to critique the game's story. So one of the lesser of the evils is whatever the premise of the story is. A basic story usually consists of protagonists, antagonists or obstacles, and some motivations. We have most of it, but we don't know anything about the cyber samurai or what they're doing here. Hell, maybe they're just here to kick out all the anime waifus since they've been encouraging all the good Christian boys to watch hentai. I get that story isn't really the focus of the game, but they started off conveying some story elements and then just decided to do fuck all with it.
The story is also terrible. You get thrown into the world of Cyberdunk with a mission to eliminate enemies. There's no voice acting to bring this terrible story to life. Instead, you get scrolling text that you might miss if you blink because it goes by so fast. Hell, the most excitement I had with the story was that Mission 3 not only tasked me with killing 100 enemies, but also gave me the chance to find a special weapon. I searched everywhere on the map and found no weapon. Imagine how happy I was.
Seevee also reiterated Buya's point about the fast-scrolling text that made the story hard to comprehend. After this, 4 out of 4 reviewers chose to criticize the sound design. The other half of art direction would be the sounds, both music and sound effects. The music is composed of loops. 2 songs are just full feature-length songs that loop, and some songs have a less noticeable loop than others. However, Stage 4 is really poorly looped. There's also this bug where if you continue to the next stage after completing the previous, none of the sounds work until you restart the whole game. All 3 other reviewers also reiterate these previous points. Then the sound effects. The gun sounds are there, that's great. But there's so few of anything else. There's no grunts, no melee sound effects, no jumping sounds, no reloading sound. There is an empty clip sound, and the rain is here sometimes, but it doesn't loop properly. The developers picked up copyright-free music, which, great for them. The game arguably would have been worse if they didn't, but it's disappointing that they couldn't be bothered to pick up copyright-free sound effects too. And at last, we have what we've all unanimously considered to be the heftiest of offenders, the gameplay. I'll sample all the unique parts from everyone's review.
Gameplay was not intuitive for me because I'm not used to shooter game mechanics. I had difficulty getting back up the platform at times, and when I died, it wouldn't restart the level.
There are constant frame drops, and every mission's goal is to kill a set number of enemies who rarely spawn. And if they do spawn, you might not even have enough ammo in your gun to kill them. Missions can take up to 30 minutes to complete depending if you can get enough enemies to spawn. And if you run out of ammo, you have to resort to melee combat. The gunplay is already bad enough because you have to make sure you don't miss any shots. The controls of the game state that there is a lock-on feature, but it doesn't work. But really, it feels like this whole game just doesn't work. Even after I completed the final mission, I did not unlock the achievement, leaving it the only one I have left to unlock, and I'm never, ever playing that mission again.
You're able to choose between a regular attack or a heavy attack, which deal the same amount of damage. Furthermore, the enemies that do spawn are slow to do so, and easily get stuck on random parts of the environment as their pathfinding is non-existent. Additionally, there is a clear miss in implementing objects correctly, as several buildings and miscellaneous objects are either floating unattached or not solid, allowing the player to walk through the object.
This is the grossest of offenders for me, and in addition to everything my co-reviewers said, here are some things that I picked up on. You can't shoot through the gaps and stuff. You can punch through solid objects though. That made some of the levels easier to deal with. Level 2 talked about a secret cache, level 3 talked about a secret weapon, and then level 4 didn't even include the rifle when it put down rifle ammunition. Instead, there's a second shotgun. So forgive me if I have some trust issues with the developers. If you use the weak attack button while using a gun, you just get this super zoomed in view of the top of the gun. The cursor on the equipment screen is really slow. Also, the game doesn't pause on the equipment screen. While the enemy AI has no problem solving skills to get around obstacles, they are perfectly capable of teabagging. If you're using keyboard and mouse, you'd find that if you have multiple weapons, they're bound to the directional arrow keys instead of the number line, and you can't rebind those keys. You can rebind the movement keys, though, if you want to. On some levels, you have the ability to escape the walls of the city, which are incredibly empty, by the way. They could have wrote about this somewhere. Story writing is like a free solution to complex problems. I don't think anybody would have noticed if the whole thing was just one big plot hole. You know, part of me is just not convinced. I have a feeling that this game isn't truly finished. If only I had proof. Oh, well, there it is. Now that we've gotten all that out, let's wrap this up with the total recap. When it comes to commendations, we gave Cyberdunk 4 in total, 2 for graphics, 1 for gameplay, and 1 for enjoyment. Some of us dug the models, one of us liked exploring the cityscape, and another one of us liked the challenge the game imposed. To consider this game's criticisms, we gave it 12 in total, 1 for graphics, 3 for story, 4 for sound, and 4 for gameplay. One of us thought the models visually behaved too awkwardly, some of us found the story poorly portrayed, we all found the music repetitively mundane with one special call out to the lack of sound effects. Then when it comes to gameplay, it was found to either be unintuitive, broken, poorly plotted, incomplete, and with at least one malfunctioning achievement, a waste of time. Out of all 4 reviewers, 1 recommended the game. When it comes to the scores,
Rating it on a scale from 1 to 5, it would be a 2, but closer to a 1. I would, oddly, still recommend the game though. Just because I hated it doesn't mean other people wouldn't.
This game doesn't deliver well on any of the advertised content and lacks a significant amount of polish. Until a major overhaul occurs, this game sits at a 1 out of 5.
I have to rate Cyberdunk Anime Edition a 2 out of 5, but only because of the lovely ladies. Otherwise, I'd rate it a 1. The only enjoyment I get from this game is looking at ass and tits, but one of the girls just doesn't get me hard.
Why would you say something so brave?
for a numerical score, I rate this game a 3 out of 10. The game is a couple hairs short of being okay, definitely just feels like it was released prematurely without all the polish the developers might have intended. It has some redeeming factors and would be fine to play if its elements connected a bit better. Alright, that's it for the video. I'm trying to work on balancing these group efforts a bit better so I can stick to my 2 videos a month intent, which I've been missing on. Here's to hoping June's a packed month with fun times. Don't forget to like the video if you liked the video. Feel free to comment your thoughts, and subscribe if you want to see my future content. Feel free to slap that bell's thick ass if you want to receive notifications for future videos.